Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into one of the biggest, revolutions really, in modern media. That massive upgrade that took broadcasting from the fuzzy, static-filled analog past into the crystal-clear digital future we all live in now. All right, let's get right into it.
Now, just a quick heads up, this is part 7 of a much larger series on modern broadcast transmission. This time, we're really zeroing in on the digital radio and television technologies that completely, and I mean completely, reshaped how we all watch and listen.
So, to really appreciate just how big a deal this revolution was, we've got to take a step back and remember the world we left behind, the world of analog.
I mean, you remember this, right? That constant hiss of radio static that would just swallow your favorite song? Or the snow on your TV screen? The ghosting images? Having to get up and mess with the rabbit ears? Those weren't just funny quirks. They were the actual physical limitations of analog tech.
And when you put them side by side, wow, the difference is just night and day. Analog was inherently noisy, it was inefficient, it gave us fuzzy pictures, and, let's be honest, not a lot of channels. Digital promised the total opposite. Clean, crisp signals, way more choices, and a much, much smarter way to use our airwaves. This wasn't just a small step up, it was a complete game changer.
So how in the world did we make that leap? Well, it all kicked off with a totally new way of thinking about how to send a signal from point A to point B. See, instead of sending out this fragile wave that could get all messed up by buildings or weather, the big idea was to turn our audio and video into what it really is: data. A robust stream of ones and zeros that's way more resistant to noise and interference. Now, this didn't happen overnight. Oh no, it was a very deliberate, step-by-step process. You see it starting back in the late 90s with HD radio getting developed. Then in 2009, and this was a huge moment, analog TV was officially shut down for good. And right now, we're in the middle of the next wave with the rollout of something called ATSC 3.0. Let's start with radio, because the challenge here was pretty unique. How do you upgrade to digital without making every single analog radio in every car and home totally useless? Well, the answer they came up with was just brilliant.
The magic here is a technology called in-band on-channel, or IBOC for short. And what it does is it cleverly lets a station broadcast its normal analog signal and a brand new digital one at the same time on the exact same frequency. This hybrid approach was absolutely the key to making sure a billion old radios didn't just turn into paperweights.
The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine the radio spectrum as a highway. The old analog cars just keep driving in their lanes, totally unaware that these new, super-fast digital cars are zipping by in invisible lanes right next to them. No crashes, no interference, just a massive boost in capacity. And what do we get in those new lanes? Oh, so much good stuff. We're talking CD-quality sound. We're talking about one station having multiple channels, your HD1, your HD2, even an HD3. And you get all that extra data, like the album art and song titles on your dashboard. For AM radio, the change was mind-blowing. The static and noise, just gone. All right, so that's radio. Now let's talk television, because this is where things get even more dramatic. You see, unlike radio's slow and steady transition, the TV switch was a hard cutover. It was one single moment in time that literally forced broadcasting into the next century. Yep, June 12, 2009. That was the day. The old analog signals that had been around for decades, they just went dark. And just like that, the United States became an all-digital television country. This was the move that really opened the floodgates for high-definition TV and everything that's come since. So that first digital standard, ATSC 1.0, was a huge leap. It gave us HD video, which was amazing. But it was really designed for a TV that sits in one place, hooked up to a rooftop antenna. The new standard, ATSC 3.0, is built for the world we live in now, a mobile world. It uses a totally different way of sending the signal that is perfect for phones and tablets. And it opens the door to things like 4K video and interactive features. Okay, the key technology making this possible is a real mouthful: orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. We just call it OFDM. But forget the name, the idea behind it is actually pretty brilliant. Instead of sending one big, fragile stream of data, OFDM chops the signal up into thousands of tiny, robust little subsignals. This makes it insanely good at handling interference, which is exactly what you need for a perfect picture on a device that's moving around. I love this analogy. Sending a TV signal with OFDM is kind of like mailing a book as thousands of separate postcards.
A few might get lost or show up late, but because you have so many little pieces of the story, you can still put the whole thing back together perfectly at the other end. That, my friends, is signal resilience.
And what does this mean for you, watching at home or on the go? It's incredible. We're talking about the potential for 4K video and amazing immersive audio, broadcast for free over the air. It means getting a great signal even in tough spots, and a future where your TV can blend broadcast with the internet for all kinds of new interactive services.
Okay, so yeah, better pictures, better sound, that's all awesome. But what's the real story here? Why is this such a fundamental shift for the entire industry? What's the big picture?
There's a quote that really just nails it. Understanding this stuff today isn't about turning an analog knob anymore. The modern broadcast engineer has to be a master of RF engineering, digital signal processing, information theory, and IT networking. It's a whole new ballgame.
And that's the bottom line. This whole transition represents this powerful convergence. The classic skills of a radio frequency engineer have officially merged with the skills of an IT network pro. At its very core, broadcasting is now a digital data business.
And this picture just says it all, doesn't it? When you look at a broadcast tower today, you're not just looking at an antenna anymore. You are looking at the final physical endpoint of a vast, complex IP network that's delivering data to millions of us through the air. And we can't forget the sheer scale of this. This took a nationwide, multi-billion-dollar investment. Broadcasters had to replace transmitters, upgrade antennas, and completely gut and rebuild their studio infrastructures to make this digital world we live in a reality. And that brings us to the big, final question, doesn't it? With these new technologies like ASC 3.0 that merge broadcasting with the internet, the line is getting blurrier every day. So the question becomes, in a world that's dominated by on-demand streaming, what role will broadcasting from a tower play in our future? What new services will it bring? That's the real puzzle to think about. Thanks so much for watching.